Hi, welcome to Torrens University Australia, and specifically welcome to MGT 502 Business Communications. Excuse me. I need to emphasize the importance of this particular subject. Okay, this subject will help you cultivate and develop the academic skills required for tertiary success in this course and also in Torrens University. It's very, very important, and we need you all to take this subject seriously, be earnest, and complete it as rigorously as possible. So I think I've heard someone's baby in the background. If you could just mute, that'd be fantastic. Okay. So again, if you could mute your. Okay, I'm going to try to mute everybody.
Yeah.
So okay, if you could mute your mics, that'd be fantastic. Okay, so there's no background noise or interjections from toddlers. So again, I want to reiterate and reaffirm the importance of this subject. Okay, it's now going to be a mandatory subject, and you'll need to complete this subject before you proceed with your other subjects. And the reason why is that it provides the essential and critical skills for performance and competence with your other subjects. So you'll learn the fundamental skills and competencies which you'll need to execute for not only this subject but also all your other subjects. Okay, so please do not trivialize the importance of this particular subject. Okay, because all the skills that you learn here will be applicable to your future studies in Torrens University. So week one overview, okay? Of course, we'll have a bit of a welcome and introduction to the course, and then we will address module 1.1, which is self-directed learning, analysis of assessment, and we'll also look at and impart academic integrity. So a bit of an introduction. I'm your lecturer, Dr. Ashwin Murray, but please refer to me as Ash. What I would like everybody to do, or the best means to contact me, is by email. Okay, so please email me or see me in the Zoom sessions which commence 2 o'clock today. All right. I say this every semester, but I'll reiterate, please email me. If I don't reply within 24 hours, please email me again. If I don't reply within 48 hours, then definitely email me again. And if I don't reply in 3 days, call the police because something's happened to me, okay? So I'll always reply within 3 days, even if you send me an email during the weekend. If you don't want to email me and you want to have a discussion with me, you can always Zoom me, and you can attend the 2 p.m. Tuesday Zoom tutorials, okay, where you can drop in and ask questions. Okay, a bit of a background on myself is I completed a Bachelor of Laws, Bachelor of Justice, and finalised my PhD. And I'm now teaching in the MBA program. So if you ever take the subject MGT 608, the business law in international context, I could potentially be your lecturer and will probably definitely be your subject coordinator. So I really do enjoy teaching. This is why I'm not a lawyer, right? I really enjoy the education process. So please do not hesitate to contact me. I'll always be happy to help, okay? So again, I'll reinforce, please email me, okay? Right, that's my preferred means of contact. Okay, a bit of a course overview. So the purpose of this course is to help you become the best learner and student you can be at our university. Some things you'll be familiar with, such as learning from lecturers and general discussion, and some things will be quite novel to you, such as finding and reading additional sources, forming arguments, and undertaking an academic presentation. So speaking about the assessment or the academic presentation, right, there are several key assessments that you need to complete, okay? So the first one is the annotated bibliography. All right, this is due week 5. And then following that, there is forming an argument, which is due week 7. Okay, you'll note that they're interrelated, both of these assessments. And then assessment 2 are 3 discussion forum posts, okay, that you will need to complete, okay. And then last but not least, in week 11, you'll need to upload an individual presentation, okay. And I will delineate these assessments further throughout the week, so make sure you attend or observe the collaborator sessions, or also participate in the Zoom sessions. But for now, be aware that you have an assessment due in week 5, okay, and you need to focus on your annotated bibliography, right? Okay, if there's any further questions, then please attend the Zoom tutorials or the subsequent collaboration sessions. I will elucidate and clarify the assessment further in subsequent sessions. Yeah, but for a little bit of work that you can conduct in your own time is have a look at the assessment briefs, okay, on your Blackboard. All right, and at the very least, read your annotated bibliography assessment 1 part A brief, okay, and be cognizant of the instructions for your inaugural assessment. So a few housekeeping matters, all right, so make sure you have Blackboard access, which you should have right now, and that you've looked at all the essential details, right, you've looked at the modules or teaching materials, and you've noted down the assignment submission dates. Look at the discussion forum and introduce yourself, right, read the announcements, and just generally familiarize yourself on how to use the Blackboard, okay? So you should have a daily propensity of looking at your Laureate email, or your Torrance email, I should say, and you should always engage daily with your Blackboard. Okay, remember when you submit, right, make sure you double check your submissions, right, and just submit once, okay. I might allow multiple submissions before the due date for this assessment, but yeah, just double check before you click submit and upload for all of your assessment. So be cognizant of your Blackboard and ensure that you are aware of all the functions and tabs within that interface. Right, sure you read the assessment briefs, which I previously admonished all of you to do. Right, so again, I implore all of you to read the assessment briefs, particularly your first assessment. Right, assignment due date is not negotiable, and time management is essential. So any late submissions are penalized by 10% per day. Then after 5 days, according to section 8, page 3 of our policy, right, mandates a mark of 0. So if it's due Friday, right, and then you submit on the next Thursday or the next Friday, and then we automatically allocate you a mark of 0. So it's required that we take attendance each week during class. Unfortunately, Collaborate does this automatically, so ensure that you attend for the full session, so the attendance is recorded and logged electronically by the Blackboard system. Right, we're now going to look at analysing or deconstructing your assessment briefs. So this is perhaps one of the foremost or most pervasive, or common errors made by students. Okay, I like to use a pretty bad analogy of the chocolate cake. So for instance, we ask the students to make a chocolate cake, right? They don't read the instructions where we say make a chocolate cake. They make a fantastic vanilla cake and they simply don't adhere to the instructions and undertake the task that's required, and then they fail the subject. So with the annotated bibliography, I know that some students will not read the assessment brief and they'll provide an essay, but it's an annotated bibliography, which is contrastingly or starkly different to an essay. Okay, so ensure that you analyze the assessment brief. Okay, and to produce a high quality assessment, this is the first step you need to undertake so that you have a clear comprehension of the assessment instructions and the tasks that needs to be completed. So you can analyze the brief in 4 steps. Okay, you can identify the topic and a specific focus. This will allow you to define the focus for your research and reading. And then you can find keywords that point to the purpose of the assessment. So look at task words. Does it say analyze? Does it say clarify? Does it say discuss? Okay, which are the particular task words? Okay, so if it's analyze, you need to break it up or deconstruct it and then discuss it. Right? If it's identify, then you merely need to illuminate specific factors, right? Or identify, right? Look at the content words as well. This asks you to look at, okay, if you could not draw on the PowerPoint, that'd be fantastic. Cheers, thanks for that. And yeah, make sure you look at the content words, okay? This will allow you to guide your research as well. So is it looking at Australian or international? And also look at limiting words as well, okay, which can be similar to content words. It might say identify literature or research in Australia and Japan, and so you only have to look at Australia and Japan, and you know they are limiting words. So pay careful attention to essential instructions, right, included in the assessment brief, such as word count, structure, and the number of resources. I am going to mandate a minimum number of resources for all of your assessment. So you need to attend the Collaborate session so you can acknowledge and adhere to those minimum requirements for resources and references. And make sure you choose the correct format, okay, as I previously discussed. Right, if it's a report or an essay, right, complete a report and essay and ensure that you include the relevant parts or functions. And be mindful, right, these assessments are peculiar in that they are not reports or essays, okay? They are very, very different to other forms of assessment, okay? So ensure that you read your assessment brief, and if you need an extension, okay, again, this is the lawyer coming out of me again, so apologies, but section 9.1 of our Torrens University policy states that all extension requests need to be submitted 1 day prior to the due date. So you need to send me an extension form, right, 1 day before the due date, okay? And ensure that you adhere to our academic integrity policy, okay, which I will detail in some of our final slides today. So learning expectations. So At this university, you are expected to learn independently, right? So find information on your own. Use your knowledge to create something new, right? Okay, if we can just, if everyone could mute, that'd be fantastic. Thank you. Right. Use your knowledge to create something new. Okay, and also emphasize your understanding. Look for connections between ideas and information. So there'll be a degree of synthesis, where you'll read research from one author and read a insight from another expert or erudite academic, and then you'll create your own synthesis or your own conclusions. And also don't be scared to try new ideas and information and seek feedback and adjust and try again. Okay, it's a learning process, so don't be averse to failure or receiving feedback or seeking feedback. So learning at university continues to succeed at university, you will need to learn continuously throughout the semester and develop skills in managing time, reading and learning from your textbook, finding and assessing academic sources, also reading academic sources, writing academic essays, reports, and submitting assessment, as well as delivering presentations. So this subject will inculcate all these skills to you, okay? Right, and if you can complete this subject, right, it will provide foundational competencies and knowledge that will enhance your future assessment and progression throughout this course. So listening and participating, okay, so there's a strong correlation between your interaction, your participation, and your student achievement and your results. So for the lecture, there's information ideas are presented. There's little or no interaction or chance to ask questions. It's very focused listening is required. However, you will have some time or some discussion in your Zoom session following the lectures. All right. Ensure that you participate in the Zoom sessions. This will definitely assist in your learning and the completion of your assessment, as well as your acquirement of knowledge. So why do you need critical thinking skills? Okay, we'll discuss and look at critical thinking. So critical thinking is a technique for evaluating information and ideas with a view to deciding what to accept and believe, right? It can be from mass media to lectures, from web to books, from database to newsprints. You need the ability to look at an argument from different sources and assess their different levels of reliability. Okay, and this will be particularly useful in your second assessment, right, forming an argument. So critical thinking skills, right, this is where you understand the significance of data and are able to clarify its meaning, and you're able to use analysis, so you're able to break up or deconstruct information and recombine it and interpret it in different ways or perspectives. You can also use reasoning, which is creating an argument through logical steps, and you can evaluate as well, which is a critical. Yeah, if you could stop drawing on the screen, that'd be fantastic. I might have to disable that function. So with the evaluation, this is a consequential critical thinking skill, and this is where you judge the worth or the credibility or the strength of the information. So key points. So work out exactly what you need to address in your first assessment, the annotated bibliography. I know some students like to refer to it as a literature review, right? Ensure that you peruse your brief and your criteria sheet so you know what to focus on and you know specifically what is required for this assessment. And ensure that you select appropriate source material as well, okay? Don't use Wikipedia, right? Use a variety of esteemed academic or scholarly sources that are relevant, current, and authoritative, okay? And use books, journal articles, conference proceedings, and web resources. And usually the library is the best place for you to search for these stupendous resources. A brilliant strategy which our MBA director has illuminated and which I've always used throughout my studies is you find a great article, an academic journal article, right? Make sure it's current, 2019, 2018, and then look at that academic article's reference list, okay? And this can be extremely useful and an efficient strategy to find pertinent authorities or sources. Okay, I'm going to have to try to mute you all again. So just, if you can mute your microphone, that'd be fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so I do have to illuminate academic integrity. Okay, this is a moral code or ethical policy of academia. All right, if you conduct any of these particular transgressions, you will be penalized, okay? So please do not purchase any essays or plagiarize paragraphs or whole tests. What you can do is always reference incessantly, all right? So you won't be accused of plagiarizing. You cannot impersonate another person to take a test or pad a bibliography or fabricate laboratory results or academic results, and you should not be collaborating on assignments that are individual, and you cannot ask for deadline extensions based on a false reason. So at Torrance we take academic integrity very seriously. So academic misconduct covers, but is not limited to, acts of plagiarism, cheating, fabrication of data or research, unauthorized collaboration, or so collusion, okay, and the misrepresentation of student status or the falsification of academic qualifications. So if you conduct or perpetrate any of these acts of academic misconduct, you will be investigated and penalized, okay? There will be ramifications for your academic turpitude or misconduct. Okay, last but not least, okay, we're going to have a Zoom session. Right, it's 2 p.m. today. You can use the above link as well. Right, I know a few students have got a class 3:30, so I am going to attend a little bit earlier for those students. But please use the above link to access, right? All you need to do is put that link into your URL, and then, yeah, you should be able to chat with me today at 2 p.m. Okay, and just to notify you, next week we'll look at module 1.2 and we'll look at exploring your writer's voice. So we'll look at summarizing, paraphrasing, synthesizing, as well as locating reliable academic resources and informational literacy. We'll look at referencing and paragraph writing as well, okay? And this is extremely important. So please do not hesitate to email me if you have any further questions or attend the Zoom session, and I will detail the assessment further in our subsequent sessions. And please ensure that you are not apathetic or indifferent about this subject. This subject will greatly assist you in your future studies here at Torrance, and it will ensure that you are able to navigate successfully the rest of your subjects. So we've got a question here. So if you want to ask a question on the chat, feel free to do so. Otherwise, I'll hopefully see as many of you as possible in the Zoom session. And this is where you can pose any queries or perhaps cascade any questions that you might have. And then we can discuss those further, and I can provide you clarification. Okay, so I've got someone putting up their hand. If you want to maybe write on the chat, so John, I can see you put up your hand. It might be best to send me an email or perhaps attend the Zoom session, and then I can clarify your question for you, okay? So you can ask the question via the chat. Otherwise, I'll see you in the Zoom session at 2 p.m. Again, if there's any queries, please email me on ashnell.murray@laureate.edu.au. Okay, and all the best for this upcoming term. And yeah, I hope to see you all next week. Okay.